How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Airport CEO and welcome back to Belfast City Airport. I was going around here trying to figure out how I can make this helicopter terminal feel a little bit more premium, because that's what it should be, in my opinion. If you're going to a dedicated heliport, you've got money and you want people to know that you have money. And so I thought, well, how can we do that? How can we make this place feel expensive? And then it hit me. Golden bathroom. Black and gold bathroom. That right there. That's an expensive, that's an expensive looking bathroom is what that is. And I think it's really tied this whole place together is what it's done. It's really cemented the idea. You can't see it, but I'm holding my hands up like I'm holding a large watermelon in front of my face for some reason. I'm just like moving them back and forth. It's really cemented the idea that, what am I doing? It's really cemented the idea that this is a waste of time and money, this heliport, but I like it. I'm glad we've got it done. I also totally forgot to change some of these couches in here. So very quickly, I'm going to go through and make those a really nice deep blue. And we'll do the same thing down here for staff as well. Now, there's two things I'd like to do today. Thing number one is I would like to get some kind of shop in here. I don't know if it's going to be all that successful, because to be quite honest with you, if we go and have a look at our flight planner and we look at tomorrow, for example, we can have a look at our helicopter stands and there's not much for the medium helicopters. We really don't have that many offers when it comes to the helicopters. And that's unfortunate. I would like more of those. I think it'd be really cool if you could get more helicopters per day. So I don't think we want to go for anything too fancy because we're not going to have the customers for it. Although in saying that, we do have a number of small helicopters coming through as well. So I think we can get away with either a shop or a restaurant, although I'm really not sure which one. I'm gonna try a restaurant, I think, and I'm gonna be a bit cheeky about it and basically just make it this entire space, so 11 by 11. You have to go through the restaurant to get to the bathroom, which, I mean, that's how they get you. That's how they get you to buy things, so that's all right. And I think what we'll do is look at this and see what we can do. We can get Crane's Burgers, which seems fair. Hilltop Cafe, that has the right vibe, I think, and it just needs a cafe counter and a fridge. So let's go ahead and make this thing the best terrible little thing that it can possibly be. Do I have the space to do this in the middle? I do not. So what we'll do is get ourselves a couple of the smaller cashier counters, and actually I should probably put them over on this side, huh? So that people can kind of like walk past them to get to the bathroom. That probably makes a little bit more sense. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 of them. I'm going to do some food counters kind of like this just to fill up the space. I'm going to get myself some display fridges for here. And I guess we can do this as well. And I can sort of dot these things around if I really want to, which I'm not against doing at all. I think we will kind of dot them around so people can do their shopping and whatnot and have a good time going to all the display fridges. I think that's probably okay. I could do something down here, and maybe we will. Maybe we do some display fridges here and I get some kind of hedges across here just to make this thing feel a little bit more enclosed. I kind of like that. So you go through here to get to the bathroom and also to the shop. That seems a little sleazy, but it's what we're going for. Let's also go ahead and just redo the floor here. And I guess for the little cafe, we'll go for, I don't really know what to go for. I'm throwing all of my, well, I was going to say all of my design sensibilities like I have any to begin with, but I'm throwing everything just out. And I'm kind of just going for whatever I feel like going for here because it's a heliport, right? It's a heliport. I myself am not extremely wealthy. I've never been in, I have been in a helicopter, actually. It was on the ground. I have sat in a helicopter. It's never been flying. So aside from that, I've never been in a helicopter. So I've got no idea what this should be like. And I really have no idea what to do with the floor here either. So you know what? Let me just do something like this instead. Let me do that entire side and that entire side. Let me go across there, and I'm just gonna do this through the middle is what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I like that. It's also not the right floor. I think we actually have a carpet in the middle here, don't we? It's a carpet. Yeah, it's a carpet. Okay. I hate everything about that. So, you know what? Let's just do this. There we go. That looks about as good as it's gonna look. Let me go ahead and get the Hilltop Cafe in here, and there we go. We'll sign it. That's fine. So this thing can go ahead and open. It'll be opening. It only needs 35 sales. You know what? I don't feel so bad about this. I think it's gonna be all right. Oh, there we go. Hilltop Cafe is open for business, which is fantastic news. Not that many people using it. 8 out of 35 sales is, we'll call it respectable, is what that is. But that's not really the focus of what I want to do today. What I want to do really is get started on another terminal. And the way I want to do this is, well, I haven't decided exactly how I want to do this, if I'm completely honest with you. Now, in saying that, I do want to get more parking lots. I think this little look with the parking lots is kind of cool. So we're going to start there and kind of work back the way we did with the helicopter terminal. So basically, I am going to go right about, say, I don't know, here, and we'll go here. And I'm not going to leave quite as much space between all these. Well, am I? You know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave a bit of space between them. Not quite like that though. I think we'll do 2, and then we'll leave a gap of, if I leave a gap of 4, I could do a road down there, but I think we'll do a gap of 3, and that'll be like a little decorative park space. And then we'll do something kind of like this and something kind of like this. And I think that's about as wide as it's going to need to be. And I'm doing that for a very specific reason, because my thinking here is that if I play my cards right, I can build an entire terminal space and then just copy and paste it over, because we could get something like 6 medium aircraft stands in here, then create a little space at the bottom for remote stands, and then have small stands kind of down here that are all remote, and then just, you know, plug it into this large runway. That's sort of my idea. Whether or not that works, I don't know. I do want to use jetways for the medium aircraft, so I'm going to have to go upstairs this entire thing, which is going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll figure it out, is what we'll do. We will absolutely figure it out. But for now, let me, oh, do I want to get fancy with the sides here as well? I think I might as well get a little bit fancy with it. So we'll leave a gap on the sides there as well, just like this. This whole space is going to just have, I don't know, the same type of decoration we do everywhere. So we'll do a little bit of a, well, you know, we don't need to do a sidewalk here. I think what I'll do is just a little single, we'll do like a single thing of sidewalk, because then I can put some hedges on that. And I think over here, we'll do exactly the same thing. And this is probably the quickest way. If I just build the entire thing, then take out the middle, it's a little bit quicker than what I was doing. And then for all of this, we'll kind of do the same thing. So we'll build all of that out. We'll take out a good chunk of the middle. That'll give me space for some hedges. In fact, let's just leave, let's just take out the middle part only, because I can sort of double stack the hedges, and I think that'll be kind of cool. In terms of people crossing over, we'll do a little thing right about there. We'll do a little crossing right about there, and we'll do a little crossing right about there. Although now that I think about it, this isn't necessarily going to work, which is kind of frustrating. So we'll do that, and we'll do, you know what? Let's just do the entire thing. We'll just make the entire thing walkable. I don't know if there's any reason to do that, and I totally forgot about subways, but I can get myself a little subway in here. So let's do this, and let's do this, because I do like to double up my subways. And then very, very simply, I want to get myself some hedges, and I want to do this because it looks nice. I'm going to leave a gap in the middle there, so it's kind of like people can get from the parking lots to my sidewalks, and then the rest of it's just going to be hedges again. And then maybe this inside part as well, up to about there, can also be hedges. So I think what I want to try and do with this entire thing is build space for everything that I'm going to need pretty much as I'm going, because I usually forget about things. I usually forget about, baggage claim, for example. So this airport's only going to have one entrance. We're going to do a little 5x2 space right about here, and that'll be the way in. I say that this will technically be a way in as well over here, but we'll do a little 3x2 down there and a little 3x2 right here. This is going to be a way out. That's going to be a way out. I'm going to try and have two sort of security exits. And then I guess what we want to do is just have a large space right about here. Now, this doesn't need to be huge. It really, really doesn't need to be huge. So I think what I'm actually going to do instead is, I think maybe 6x6, and that can be kind of our baggage claim space. Maybe a 7x6, maybe a 8x6. So I have like a little 4x6 thing here, maybe an 8x5. I think we'll do that. I think we'll do a 7x5. My numbers are all over the place right now, but we'll do a 7x5 on each side. And that's basically going to be space for people to leave security, but also get their bags on the right. This honestly could be smaller now that I think about it, this little corner thing. So let's do a 2x2 instead of a 3x2 right on the corner. And then right about here, we'll do a 7x5, like I'd said, and a 7x5 here as well. That's still going to be the same plan. It's just this is going to be our corridor now. And then all of this is going to be our check-in space. So you can drop your stuff off, you can go through, you can do your thing, and that's great. This will all be decorative, which I'm completely okay with. And so what I want to do is go in and just fix up all of the little corners that I'm missing right now, because I know I'm missing a couple of them. And we'll do the same thing down here. And then what I'm going to do is just take out that bit of wall. And I'm going to take out that bit of wall. These guys are going to stay separated for now. You will be able to go from one to the other. It's just I want to have them be very distinctly different spaces. And I guess this wall here can be moved back a little bit. So we'll put it right about there. And I'm also going to do windows just while I'm here. They're not going to fit perfectly in this space, but I think some windows would be kind of nice on this. I don't usually do windows as part of the build. I usually leave them till right at the end. So getting them in here right away seems like a nice little change of pace for me, even if the game auto-saving every 2 minutes is really, really frustrating. Now, something I'm wondering with this space, given how wide it is whether or not I can maybe get security into some of the space at the sides here and here. Maybe we do 2 security spaces that are a little bit expandable to see whether or not we can maybe just control the number of people that want to come through here. So I think what we'll do is start as we mean to go on and get ourselves some check-in desks. So as always, these guys don't really fit in the middle, which is kind of frustrating. So I think what I'll do, although I have to remember that we are dealing with medium flights here. Do I want to turn these guys sideways and do something a little bit different to what I usually do? I kind of do, I think. I think turning these guys sideways could be kind of fun. The only problem is, again, we don't really have a central space for this, but I think it'd be kind of interesting to have these guys sort of turned on their side. I think that's kind of what we go for. And then we just have a bunch of, we just have some conveyor belts or something to take them underground. I would like to keep as much stuff above ground as possible. I like seeing it all, but I think this is kind of what we go for. So we'll do maybe something like this. And I think that'll be okay. I'm not going to need too many of these, but I think what we'll do is get these built. And I think we'll also go and start laying out some walls here so we can really see what we're dealing with. So let's see. You're going to come in here. You're going to have a wall right in front of you when you come through the doors. We can maybe do something like a flight info display right here so that you're not just looking at a wall. There are info displays right there by the entrance as well, but I think this is a good idea. And then what we can also do is maybe just a section of wall down here as well. This is all going to be kind of confined. In fact, oh, how am I going to make this work? That's a great question that I do not currently have an answer to. Although I think I might I might have a bit of an idea. Maybe just run some conveyor belts sort of down this way and then down this way. I really don't know. I think I might be setting myself up for a bit of disaster right here if I'm not careful. They might be too close together and that might start causing problems. But I guess what we do is we have a look at the conveyor belts that we have. And my thinking was I'd just run something straight down here and then underground, which I guess I can still do. I suppose that's still kind of the option. I was hoping to leave some space open for staff here. So I guess what we do is we don't do that bit of wall. We can set this entire thing up as a, I really hate not having room back here. I know it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to space these out a little bit further because it's bothering me that I don't have space back there at all to make this look a little bit neater. So instead of 2 between them, we'll do 4 between them. So something kind of like, oh, that's not quite right either. Something kind of like this is what we'll go for. And then doing this means I can have the wall be about the same length on both sides. We'll leave a gap in the middle there for a door. But doing this means I can just use the conveyor belts down for all of it and then feed it into a nasty looking conveyor belt underground. So I think that's what we go for. It frees up this entire space for staff to kind of roam around and do their thing. And I think that's just going to look a little bit better. Yeah, I think I prefer that a lot. You know, because I'm feeling a little bit impatient, I'm going to use these hedges to try and block out roughly where I want the queues to be from these desks. So we'll go about 7 there. We can leave a gap of maybe 3. We'll do about 7 there. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So 7, a gap of 3, and let's see, we want to go about another 7 there. Now, what I want to do is go ahead and copy these guys, and they are going to go right here. We'll swing that around and we'll go right here. And I think that's all we're going to need in terms of the old-fashioned style of bag drop here. Although I think I've just done that with planning mode, haven't I? So that's fine. Honestly, I'm not too worried about that. We'll do a lot of stuff with planning mode here, and then I'll just go ahead and enable all of it to be built. So what I'd like to do is get my usual escalators down there, and we'll get the usual escalators down right about here. We'll get ourselves some walls going around this thing the way we have for a lot of the rest of it. We'll go back to about there. And I suppose we can do this as well. We'll have a couple of ways in and out for staff, and that's all right. In fact, I think over on this side, let's just make that a little bit wider because I can do some couches back there as a bit of a staff room, which, I mean, it's not going to be the most luxurious staff room they've ever seen, but it will certainly do the job. This entire space is now staff only, which is fine. This entire space is also going to be staff only, which is completely fine. And then we'll get ourselves some of the medium doors for here and for here, and then some of the small doors for either side of here and here as well. And then I think behind these is where we could do some self bag drop stuff as well. Now, I don't want to go too crazy with this. I usually do maybe a little bit too much of it. I don't think we need all that much in the way of the self bag drop stuff. We do need space for it though. So let's do 1, 2, maybe 3, 4. Well, I guess we're doing 5 of them, which means 10 of them actually, which might be too much. I say it's too much because it means that no one ever goes to the regular check-in stuff, but I think it's just the way of it, man. If I have the option of dropping my own bags off and checking myself in at an airport, I do it every single time. It is just so much easier than standing in that queue and going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then, you know, you can just do it all yourself. It just automate it. It makes life so much easier on what is already a really, I don't want to say airports are constantly miserable, but it's not, they're by no means the most pleasant places to be. I don't mind them. They're just not, they're not the most pleasant places to be. They're a bit, I don't know. I I like airports. I like travel. Like, I like the process. I've talked about this many a time before. I like the process of traveling. I like the sort of, I don't know, the schedule to all of it, to be honest with you. I do like that. I like the whole, like, you get there on time, you drop your stuff off, you go through security. I like all of that because it's got structure to it, I guess, is probably what I like about it. But it just, there's something about it. I don't know. It's a satisfying process, right? If you're on time, you get through security, you do this, you do that, you go wait there for a little bit for your flight to board, you get on the flight, you go where you're going. As long as you do everything you got to do, you will make it to where you're going. And if there's like an outside influence on what's going on, then there's nothing you can do about it anyway. It's a whole thing. I just like the process. I like structure, to be honest, I think is what it is. And I think it's because my life really doesn't have my life really doesn't have a lot of structure to it. That sounds more depressing than I mean for it to sound. I just mean that when it's spring and summer, I typically work nights because it's so warm during the day. So my sleep schedule is constantly changing. My work is constantly changing. I'm playing this game or that game or the other game. I have to edit this video. I just like work. This whole career thing is like, I'm 12 years into this channel nearly, and I'm still getting used to it. Is what I'm getting at. That's the point I'm trying to make, I think. I really don't know what point I'm trying to make. I'm not gonna lie. I've got no idea. It's weird. It's a really strange thing. I like how sort of regimented airports are, is the point that I'm trying to make. Anyway, we have all the check-in space. Unfortunately, not as much space left over for what I was thinking was gonna be security. Although in saying that, I could get one of these guys. If I made baggage handling a little bit smaller, I could get 4 of these. I could do 2 on each side. I don't know if that's going to be enough for how many planes I want to send through here, though. That's kind of the problem I'm having with this, is I just don't know if it's going to be enough, which could potentially mean shuffling this down a little bit and then stacking a bunch of them maybe this way. I don't know. Or I could do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. That would be another option. So I could get 4 of them. You kind of come out of your check-in thing and you go down here instead of out and around. But then again, the question is, I'm stacking down this way and I'm trying to avoid doing that. I was hoping to get a lot of stuff in here, was my plan. So maybe we do, I mean, does baggage claim need to be this big? Probably not. I can probably get away with something a little bit smaller. So let's take out this wall just for now. And let's take out this wall just for now. This is going to be baggage claim over here. I am committing to that idea, but I'm also being a little bit cheeky and ever so slightly going back on that idea, I guess, is what I'm doing. Anyway, what we'll do is I'm going to put a wall right here, and it's giving me this really weird staff corridor thing at the back here, but I'm kind of okay with that. And I think we'll just go ahead and make that a sort of dedicated staff space just because it's there, and that's about the only thing I can do with it. And it does have a purpose, this weird thing that I'm doing. I want to take out this entire wall, or I want to cancel building that entire wall, and I want to cancel building that one as well. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to say that this is going to be a new section of terminal. In fact, this whole part can be a new section of terminal, and we'll see how that goes. We'll do 11 by 4 right about here, and we'll do 11 by 4 right about here. And then my hope is that what I can do is create a security space on either side that feeds into maybe this central space, and we'll see how that goes. I really have no idea what this should look like or what this is going to look like, but let's do some measuring. So the medium security thing is 8 small tiles across. So if I make this 16, that is, if I make it 16 by 8, that is 2 of them. If I make it 24 by 8, that's 3 of them. And I want to say that's going to be enough. I hope that's going to be enough. So we'll do 24 by 8 on either side. That does leave us a really small space for baggage claim, which is unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And then I guess we'll go and say medium security desk thing here and here. In fact, you know what? We're just going to do one of them. And I'm going to go ahead and say that we need to, no, we're going to do all of them. I could copy and paste the queue from each of these, and I probably will at some point, but just for the sake of actually planning this out properly, we're going to just position all of them right there. Although looking at this, I almost wonder, should I shuffle it over a little bit so I can get rid of this extra bit of terminal that I'm never going to use? And I feel like that's what I'm going to do. And so this is going to be the layout for the security spaces. We have one on each side. We have space for some doors in here as well, which is absolutely fantastic. The baggage claim space is a little bit, it's leaves a lot to be desired, I think is how we're going to describe that. There is going to be a lot of baggage handling underground, unfortunately. I don't love that, but it is about all I can do. And I suppose the next thing we want to do is figure out where all the planes are going to go. Because my whole thing with this airport was the idea that I could copy and paste this entire thing over and over again, but it is now a bit wider than I think it reasonably needs to be. So what I'm going to try is, well, I don't know what I'm going to try. I think I'm going to try and funnel everyone around a little something like this, and we'll bring them kind of around here, and we have this middle space, which is kind of cool. So we'll take out these walls, and I guess we'll take out some of these walls as well. We'll take out maybe these last 4. We'll take out the last, yeah, we'll take out the last 2 down there, and we'll sort of send people down and around a little bit so that it's kind of an adventure is what they're going on. But they come around here, and then we have this, maybe we just do like a thing. Maybe we just do describing words. Like I said, I've done this for 12 years, and my ability to describe what I'm doing in a video has never been stronger. But what I'm thinking is that we just do this. I think this could be kind of interesting. Just have the have these guys just lined along the back of this one central thing. This one central concourse. I think that's the word I'm looking for, is concourse. The only issue with doing this is that we are left with the reality that people coming into the airport will have to go around and past security to then leave. Whereas if I didn't do this central concourse and instead I did the usual that we do, they would get off the plane and just go straight out at the side there and straight out at the side over here. And maybe that makes more sense. That probably does make more sense. But then the question is, if this thing is so wide, which it is, it's quite wide, is it a lot of wasted space? And I want to say it kind of is. And I also have to be keenly aware of the fact that I did want to use jetways for this. I really, really want to use jetways for this, but I also don't want a bunch of wasted space. That's kind of the problem I'm having right now. So I guess what we'll do is we'll go and sort of, we'll go back to the drawing board a little bit with some of this. I think this corridor is still going to be important. I think we still want this, because what's likely to happen is someone's going to go through security on the right side of the airport and have a flight to catch on the left side of the airport. In fact, we can go one further and say that even the terminal foundation that we had here is going to stay, and it's going to be a little bit wider than it was. And the reason I want to do this is because we are 100% going to need these walkolators, because I can guarantee you, like I said, someone's going to go through security on one side and have a flight on the other. So does this thing fit in here nicely? It better. It really better. I'm going to be kind of annoyed if it doesn't. Let me see. Can I get some doors? Yeah, so I can get a door here, and I can get a door down here. Can I get some? No, I can't get nice doors in there. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. So walkolator, we want this one, and it wants to go there, and that does fit nicely. This thing is not as wide as I thought it was, which is kind of surprising. Let's hold on. Is that in the middle? No, that's the middle. And then I can do another one up at the top here and just have a space in the middle for people to walk if they want to. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll do some walk-a-later so people can get back and forth. I think that's, like I said, that's going to be important. And then, you know, we'll just do the concourses on the left and the right, the way we've done it absolutely everywhere else. It's a little boring, but I think it works. I think this is good too. And what I'm also realizing here is that I could potentially repurpose some of this space, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can get airside shuttle bus stops in here. And these things, I mean, we would have to do some building. We would have to make some space for people to sit and wait for the bus to show up, I think. I don't think I'd want to just sort of shove this thing in here and have people sort of suffer through the fact that, you know, it's absolutely cramped, but we have room to experiment here. And that, I think, is kind of exciting. So let me just go ahead and get my taxiways. They only need to be, I want to say 5 tiles wide for these aircraft. So we'll do a little 5x5 right here. We'll do a little 5x5 right here. And we want to do a little 5 by whatever right down through the middle here. So from this spot to that spot, we'll go the entire way down, and we'll just get this entire thing sorted out pretty much immediately. So I don't have to worry about doing that too much later on. We'll also go ahead and get these all connected through the middle as well, so that once it's all built, it is all connected. And I'm going to have to figure out how this connects down to the runways. And honestly, looking at this, I think I want to get another stand in here on each side. I think we can go a little bit further with it, and I think that's the right call. And as much as I want to use jetways, I'm not going to. I'm going to just stick with this. We're going to need stair trucks in here, and that's completely fine by me. It's not perfect, but it's going to be all right, is what it's going to be. I'm also thinking that this entire space, if we do clone this entire thing, is going to be a fair bit wider. It's going to be doubling in size. We're going to have a lot of space for people to sit around there, but I think that's all right. And I think, honestly, let's just go ahead into building tools. Let's say build planned objects and see how much this is going to cost right off the jump. 1.1 million to construct all of that. It's going to take a while unless I go and turn off build mode, which is an option that I do have, and I have admittedly done that a couple of times here and there. I've turned off build mode because, or simulated construction is actually what I'm turning off, but we'll hold off on doing that for now, just for the time being. You know, looking at the space that we have here, I'm actually pretty convinced that I could just copy and paste this entire thing. Now, I do want to double check that I have everything I'm going to need, which is check-in, security, and then departures. I suppose I should probably go and lay in the rest of the security stuff at this point. So, for example, we're going to need a security exit, which I was thinking of putting basically over here. So I guess we should do that. I guess we should get ourselves that security exit. And I suppose what we'll do with this thing is we'll chop out just a little section of wall right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do exactly the same thing on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a hair on my tongue and it's really annoying. I've been trying to get it off my tongue for the last 10 minutes and it won't go away. So if you hear me working on that, just bear with me. And I guess, well, I don't know. I don't know what's got into me today. I really don't know what is going on with me today. Yeah, there's so much stuff that I know is going to make the cut for this video that usually gets cut out. Let's do the security thing there. And we'll do the security thing right about there. And I suppose we can just double up the walls on this a little bit, just kind of thicken it up like this. And that's how people can get out. In fact, I'd be inclined to say that maybe we do this sort of thing. So it's kind of its own little channel for people to go through to leave. So a little door, it's kind of one of those like, hey, you are now leaving the secure part of the airport. Are you sure you want to go here? Have you got everything? Have you got your bags? Have you left something around? Make sure you've got everything because you're not getting back in here if you go through this door. It's one of those kind of things. So we'll do this on either side, and that's now how people can get out of there. And I suppose I should probably just decorate everything before I copy and paste this. I should get our baggage claim space. I should figure out where the baggage bay is going to go for this entire thing, and I should probably do the math on how many medium stands we can connect to this. So medium stands can be 4? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me do the math down here and see what we've got going on. So if I was to look at you, yeah, we can only do 4. Oh, that's going to be rough. So does that mean that I'm going to need... Oh, that does. Hold on a minute. So you are connected to 4 of 4. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do 6 stands then. Which is unfortunate because it means I don't like that. I mean, we do admittedly have space, and like we could do 1 more stand on each side, do 4 per side, have a baggage bay per side. That would be an option here. I just don't think we have the room for it, unfortunately. I think this is a little bit too close. So I guess we'll do the medium. We'll do a baggage bay per side and then just deal with whatever's going on. I don't know about this. I guess a baggage bay per side is what we'll do. I don't know how we're gonna get down to it. Unless I build it right at the end. I was kind of thinking of doing some remote stuff down at the end as well, but I guess a baggage bay down at the end of each concourse wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So maybe we do like a 4x6 space, and that can have some bathrooms in it. And then maybe sort of a 6x or a 10x6 space there. Can I even fit a baggage thing in there? Is that an option? So we want the baggage bay. Once the game's done saving, we'll find if it actually fits in here. Not really. Annoyingly, this thing would have to be... Oh, that's really, really disappointing. So this thing would have to be bigger, which is kind of a pain. But I guess that's what we're doing. So what size did we go for here? This was 4x6. It's gonna have to be by 7, which is kind of a pain. So 4x7 for this entire thing. So 4x7 there. I think I just did 4x8, didn't I? No. So we'll do 10x7 here. And I mean, this doesn't need to be a 10x7, admittedly. We could make this a bit smaller, but basically here is where this thing's gonna go. And we'll do one of these on each side. I'm actually kind of okay with this. And you know, there's a little part of me just freaked out because I've built this right up against the aircraft stands, but I think I can do this, right? I'm pretty sure I can take out a chunk of wall and just bring the roads through the building, which I've never really done before. So that's kind of cool. And that might actually make this a really good way to access these baggage bays. So let's find out how that's going to go. I guess if I did the baggage bay down here, we can absolutely do that. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So we're going to do a baggage bay right there, and we're going to do a baggage bay on this side as well. So we want to make this nice and secure the entire way in there. We want to get ourselves a baggage bay here. We'll swing it around and put it right about there. And then in theory, assuming this works the way I want it to, I can just bring a road. Oh, I'm going to have to make this. Oh, I'm going to have to make the building a bit bigger. Do I want to do that? I think I do. Just for the simple idea of bringing the road through the building. I really didn't want to have to make it bigger, but I like that idea. I think that's kind of cool. And so this is what that's going to look like. It gives us a straight shot across the taxiway, which is kind of neat. And if I wanted to, I could run the roads sort of straight down here as well, which I guess I'm going to do just so the airport looks a little bit busier with vehicles going around there. I don't know if we need to do that. I mean, I know we don't really need to do that, but it looks cool, and that's what it's all about, I guess. Is it's what I'm going to tell myself, okay? That's what I'm going to tell myself. So we have the taxiway here. That honestly doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. It doesn't look great, but it doesn't look as bad as it could. You know, I've been watching my contractors slowly put this entire thing together for a while now, and it's nice seeing them finally start putting the furniture in here and finally start building the desks, I was so close to just disabling the simulated construction. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still quite close to doing that. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very tempting, because it's hit me that for at least some of these, I'm probably gonna want to just bulldoze all of these check-in desks and just have one of them, and that's gonna be the one that I build the queue for, and then I'll copy and paste that one, and that'll be great. You know, it'll be a working thing, right? We'll have the queue in here, but it's gonna put all these other things to the back of the queue. Basically, it's gonna mean that all these other check-in desks don't get built forever, which is kind of a pain. It's kind of a pain every single time, but sure, we will suffer through it for now. Is what we'll do. So I want one there, and I want one here, and I want one here, and of course over here and here, and the same thing on this side as well. We'll get all of these set up. That gives us reasonable queues. They could be better. They could certainly be worse. So I'm sort of okay with this. And I do sort of wish I stuck to my idea of sending people down through this way towards security instead of back out and around, but you know what? Honestly, for now, this is fine. Now, when it comes to all of the conveyor belts under here, I'm actually thinking that what I might do is bring everything down to here and put a tilt tray right about there. And then for these guys over here, for all the self bag drop stuff, which, oh, that's not even self bag drop. That's just these guys. For these guys, I'm going to bring them down. I'm going to bring you guys down. I am going to do the same thing over on this side. So bring them down to about here and bring you guys down to about there. I'm just going to feed them all into the middle because it's all bag drop. It's all going to the same place. And then we're just going to use this tilt tray to send everything kind of out and around the airport to the baggage things, the baggage bays. So all the way down to here, basically, for all of them. And I think that's going to look kind of cool. I do. I think that'll be kind of an interesting way to do it. It keeps things simple as well. I've also totally forgotten about security. I totally, you know what? We'll do it under the baggage bays. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. And that is going to be a whole staff space anyway. So we'll do bag check underneath the baggage bays. It wasn't intentional, but it's what we're doing. Okay, you know what? This is taking forever. It's ridiculous how long this is taking. We're going to press F10. We're bringing up the debug menu. We are turning off simulate construction. So everything is just going to build immediately. I still have to pay for it. Just to be clear, it's not that I'm getting all this stuff for free. I absolutely still have to pay for it. I just cannot be bothered sitting here and waiting for all of this to build. I just can't. I don't have it in me. It's taking so much longer than it needs to take. It's just the end result is going to be exactly the same. I've got what, $14.5 million. I don't think it's going to make all that much difference whether or not I sit here for 20 minutes and wait for the construction to finish, or if it just finishes immediately. Okay. I don't like doing this, but I also feel like this has become a tradition at the end of every, not the end, it's not the end yet, but towards the end of every airport CEO series. At some point this happens. At some point we go ahead and we enable or disable the simulated construction every single time. And now the cool thing about that is I can come in here super quickly and get this entire security thing built. And that's what matters, right? That's the important thing. Now we need to be going in on this side. So what we'll do is we'll have our security set up here. So that's going to be, if everything's approved, it goes ahead. If it gets denied, it goes into these scanners here. I'm going to try and keep this thing as compact as I possibly can so that I can copy and paste it over to the other side. And unfortunately, oh, actually, maybe fortunately, I actually can do that. Yeah, we can totally just about do that. So we'll get ourselves some regular conveyor belts down to here. we are going to come across to about here. And then if any of these guys get denied, they need to go into the 3rd tier scanning station, which is going to be this guy. So what I think we'll do is place this thing right about there. We'll get ourselves a section of conveyor belt like this. I'm hoping these guys can all feed in like that, which they can. You can feed in like that, which is great. And then all of this goes that way, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then in terms of destroying stuff, we want to get the baggage destroyer, which can honestly, just because I'm really liking all the conveyor belts being right next to each other. Where are we going here with this? We're going up that way. So this thing's going to live here. We're going to get ourselves another section of conveyor belt. And you know what's really annoying is every time I click on a bit of conveyor belt, it flashes the screen because it's briefly turning off the secure zone and then turning it back on. And it's really, it's not good. I don't like that it's doing that at all. It's actually really frustrating, but whatever. We're nearly done with this little secure space. So there we go. So that's our bag check. That is how baggage security is going to work here. And I think that is pretty solid, to be totally honest. We also had a bit of a thing going on there. There we go. So now that all feeds through, we are going to want to do the same thing on the other side, just sort of flipped around a little bit. So what I'll do is copy and paste all of this, and we'll bring it over. And essentially, so it all loops around that way. I could do it here, I guess. I'm pretty sure that'll work. Although where's the baggage thing? Baggage thing's there. Let's do this all the way down here. And that should be fine right about there. Although I might want to flip some of it around a little bit. And then I guess on the way out, we can have this really neat setup that just goes underneath the incoming bags and heads out to the baggage claim areas, which are a bit smaller than I was planning for right at the start, but this seems pretty solid. This seems like it'll work. It gives us everything we need for all of our baggage handling, which is great. So we're getting very close to the point where we can start activating things around here, which I absolutely love and adore. You have a baggage bay connection. Oh, no, you don't. Okay. So I guess what we'll do is connect everything on this sort of left side. Can I click all of you guys? So I can click all of you. Oh, I totally can. That's absolutely perfect. So all of you are going to connect down to here. And that is great. And then everything on this side is going to connect to the baggage bay on this side of the airport. So all of you are going to connect down to this guy, which is hopefully going to put us in a good spot. And then do all of these need to be switched on? I believe they do. I think some of them are, well, the middle one is somehow already switched on. These guys are on as well, which is fine. These guys will need to be connected to a baggage bay as well. So connect all 3 of you to there. And connect all 3 of you to right about there. And then what have we not got? We don't have a runway. That's fine. We don't have boarding desks. Makes sense. Security checkpoints, not currently, functioning, and not currently in a terminal either. But I will say, this is currently the neatest terminal that I think we have. It's just, I mean, it's a big square, but it's very neat. Oh, now this is concerning. We happen to have people trying to check in right now because apparently all of these stands are open. So let's just very quickly turn those off because they have assigned aircraft at the airport. Are you kidding me? That's impossible. Where would they land if they were at, okay, you know what? We're not going to worry about it. What are you complaining about? What's the issue here? It's broken and can't find a hangar. Ooh. Oh, no, that's actually a fair complaint I hadn't thought about. We need hangars for my larger aircraft. So let's try and deal with that very quickly because that's something I absolutely forgot about. Let me do a runway ramp right here, I guess. And let me do a large, oh, where am I going to do this thing? I guess here for now is where we can do a lot. This feels like this is a temporary thing, 100%. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it. Where am I going to do this thing? I'm going to do it down here. So right there is where I'm going to do this. And I'm going to give myself just a huge amount of taxiway for this thing. So it needs to be what, 7 across? So 1 there, 3 like that. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So we'll do this. I'll get myself the large runway ramp, which can sit right about there. We can hopefully connect this all together nice and quickly. And my hope is that what this will do is get rid of any planes that are currently broken and having trouble. So if I just demolish you, this is connected and we have planes hopefully on their way to figuring out where they need to go. I don't know where the broken plane is necessarily going to go. I'm hoping it can get across here, but I'm not 100% convinced. Oh, hold on. Maybe you? No, not you. Are you broken? No, you're not broken either. In fact, there is... So WC299 is broken. I'm going to say that that's not an issue anymore, because I don't think the plane's here anymore, which makes me wonder where it went, which is worrying. But you know what? We're not going to think about that. What I'm going to do is go ahead and set up this taxiway, since we might as well get this new terminal up and going, since we have people here that are apparently wanting to get on planes, which is slightly worrying. But that should give us a runway. Are you set up to accept medium flights? No, we will allow you to accept medium flights though, which means that this is all up and going. It's just not attached to a terminal. So let me go and paint this thing in as a part of a terminal. So from here, we want to go the entire way up to about there is what I'm thinking for that terminal, which seems pretty good. We can also go in and just take out the parts that we don't want to be a part of the neighboring terminal. So I'll take the fence out of there just a little bit, just to tidy that up, and we'll bring this all back a little bit, because that fence right there is well, part of it is going to be a part of my new terminal. So all of that is now a part of Terminal 4, which is great. There's just no one working at Terminal 4, which is bad. Now, you want to know what I totally forgot about? I totally forgot about cabin cleaning, and I totally forgot about basically everything that this airport could want. Catering. I forgot about that one. I do have stair trucks on the way, though. I do have pushback trucks on the way, though. And I'm about to go in and get some other things as well. But we do need to figure out catering and cabin cleaning, and I kind of have an idea for how I think we can do that. Let me get some belt loaders. Let's see here. I'm going to go for 6 of these guys as well. And then for fueling, we actually forgot about this as well, which is kind of a problem. We're only going to need Jet A1 though. So honestly, what I'm going to do, I think I can get away with 3 of these. I really don't think we need more than that. And then we can have a look in here and hopefully start to assign things. So 6 pushback trucks. We've got 6 stair trucks going in here. We are going to have more vehicles arriving at the airport shortly. We've got all of the baggage trucks arriving, so 6 of those go in there. We have the belt loaders. We're going to get 6 of those in there. And we're a bit overwhelmed with things right now, but that's okay. We should have the tanker trucks arriving in no time at all as well. Hopefully. Assuming that they actually show up, which they are. Yeah, they're about to be here, which is great. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. We'll get all 3 of those in there, which is fine. We just need people. That's all we kind of need right now is people to actually work at the airport, because we don't have that many of them, and it's kind of a problem. So I'm going to hire a bunch of service technicians. I'm hiring anyone that's not in the red. We're going to do the same with security. So anyone that is not in the red is going to be hired. I just hired one in the red for security. Same with everything, really. Just anyone that can be brought in here to work this airport is going to be brought in to work this airport. We don't need too many passenger service agents, but just to be safe, we'll go ahead and get a decent number of them. And I think that's about everything we're going to need for that space. So now what I'd like to do is go to staff. We'll get a bunch of you guys. We will get a bunch more security. a bunch more janitors, a bunch more service technicians, and a bunch more ramp agents, which still isn't going to be enough. We are going to want more than 2 ramp agents per side right here. And we're waiting on the stair trucks getting in here, which is going to take some time as well, but that's okay. How many of these desks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we want 16 passenger service agents in here. We currently have 12. So if we could hire 4 more of them, we will be okay. So it seems like part of the problem I have been having with my vehicles is that all of my security checkpoints weren't connected. So I've gone through and just punched some holes through the fences so that my service vehicles can get from terminal to terminal kind of easily. That's basically where the problem was. I've also gone ahead and assigned one of everything to each of these stands now. So eventually we should have a stair truck coming along to help this guy out and get everybody off that plane, which is fantastic. We are slowly filling out security over here as well, but it's going to take some time, which is really unfortunate, but it just is what it is, really. It's just how the game works. It's kind of going to take forever to fill out security. We also apparently don't have enough vehicles, but I find that, or well, baggage vehicles, I find that hard to believe. I'm pretty sure we do. I think we just have, well, by the looks of it, we also have maybe 1 too many stair trucks here, which is a bit of a problem, but I'm not really gonna worry too much about that. Although can I assign you elsewhere? Stair truck 174. So show in menu. Where is stair truck 174? We want to find it in here somewhere. I'm sure it's gonna be in the transit section, right? Yeah, stair truck. How do I find you? I need you in the menu. Stair truck 174. I haven't the slightest idea of where this thing is going to be. What stand is this? This is stand 33. So we're looking for a truck that's assigned to stand 33. This one. So this one's assigned to stand 33, which is fine. So why are there 2 trucks there? Because we only have 1 assigned to that stand. Unless, oh, I know what it is. This one has come out of nowhere to save the day. That's the problem. That's what the complaint's going to be. I think part of what might be holding us back here is the fact that a lot of these planes do want their plane cleaned, and some of them do want catering services as well. So I think as sort of a temporary thing, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to try my best to get both of those. In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll come up here, and this is where we're going to build ourselves our catering space, because catering annoyingly needs a connection to the front part of the airport. So this thing can just live up here, and I'm kind of okay with that for now. Eventually that's going to need to change. Eventually we're going to want to expand things a little bit here, and this isn't really going to cut it, but for the time being, just while we have that demand, I think we'll build this thing here. And I think we'll also go and get our waste depot in here as well, just since that is a thing that people are going to be wanting. So let me see, what way do I want to do this? We'll build this thing here. We'll get ourselves some of the service roads, and we'll do this. We'll bring this through, and we'll just bring this all the way down to the bottom part of the airport here. We'll bring it down around here and across like that. And that gives us a connection, which is absolutely fantastic. So they're no longer complaining, which means we can now go and get ourselves some vehicles for that whole thing. Now that's assuming the vehicles do actually assign themselves to this part of the airport, which I hope they will. Let's do, honestly, 6 of them and 6 of these guys as well, since we have 6 stands. We'll get those assigned, and they will live underground where we have a bunch of these garages, which is completely fine. And that'll hopefully make these airlines a little bit happier. I can't imagine they're thrilled with me right now. Although I will say, I'm thrilled that security's starting to clear out a little bit. Although, why have you guys all just stopped working? I mean, I guess they're probably clocking off for the night, but that completely messes up security every time there's a shift change. That's more than a little bit frustrating. And would you look at that, now that we're cleaning the planes and feeding the planes, we've got them heading out, which is absolutely perfect. We do have a bit of a tailback over here though, which is sort of to be expected given how this runway operates. We have the medium planes taking off at this point, the large planes taking off from back there, which means sometimes they're gonna have to wait around. This is really not a good layout for the airport right now. But that's kind of okay, because the idea, I guess, is that we are going to be getting rid of this guy. We are going to get rid of this medium runway. We're going to put another large runway in here, and we're going to see how that goes, and we're going to see how that behaves, which means that I am going to have to start getting rid of some of these medium stands, which I can't do while the plane is at the airport, unfortunately. So I mean, I'm going to have to just start sending them away, which sucks. I don't like having to do that, but it is what it is. We're going to have to start closing this terminal down a little bit so I can expand this larger one and start using 2 runways, because yeah, this is not a good layout, having these planes just sitting on the runways right now. That's really not a layout that I enjoy at all. So let's start getting a bit cheeky with it. Let's just start to dismiss the aircraft and tell them to leave, so that I can start turning all these things off and canceling some flights. So that one's gone, which means, oh, apparently I still can't. Oh, really? Is the plane that wants to go there at the app? Yep, it is. Okay. Well, that's not really good for me. I need you to leave as well. And if we go and try this, that plane's still at the airport. Hopefully the replacement isn't. There we go. So now we cancel all the flights and we start doing that to all of them. You know, given the fact that we are making so much money, I'm going to bring the time between flights up to 45 minutes just to try and slow things down on these runways, because the amount of planes going back and forth is a little bit ridiculous. I definitely don't love it. And I'm also kind of thinking that it might be time, and I hate to say this because I wasn't planning on doing this, but I think we're going to just get rid of this airport. I think it just goes away is what we do with it. So we're going to go through and start closing all of the small stands. I don't know if we're necessarily going to do it today, because this episode's definitely going on a little bit, but we have so many complaints. This is all people not able to pass security checkpoints. This is all people, it's employees and people trying to get up to the top part of the airport because they're idiots and decided to show up to this part of the airport. I think it's just easier at this point to get rid of this terminal. I didn't really want to do that, but I think it goes away. And I think that's probably for the best, just to, you know, help the passengers figure out where exactly they're supposed to be going. And you know, that right there is kind of a sad sight, but honestly, it's for the best. Let's close this runway and demolish that runway. There is basically nothing down here that we need to keep. So what we're going to be doing is just going in here and getting rid of about everything, really. Just everything that we can possibly get rid of. So all of that needs to go. I don't know what we need these things, the transfer sites and stuff like that. We can do that. We can, I don't know where to put these things really. I guess we'll put them up here for the time being. And there we go. We don't have that original terminal anymore, which is sad, admittedly, but here's the good news. I can get rid of this runway and I can sort of do that properly now. So this entire thing goes away, which is not exactly great. What do you mean can't remove active or, oh my God, do I have to wait for the planes to leave? Oh my God, all those vehicles as well. Good Lord. That's fine. I can remove all of this and I can remove all of this and I can remove all of you. So all of that needs to go away. There's so many vehicles now figuring out where they need to go. That's going to be interesting for them to figure out. But what I would like to do is go ahead and start putting in some more runway connections here. Now, my thinking is that I could do several runways here. I could probably do one down the side as well, which is maybe where we're going to end up doing a That might end up being like a small or medium runway at some point, because I do still want to get general aviation in here. But for now, we're sort of going to go all in on this little weird thing that I'm doing here. So we'll have this right there. We'll go and do a big old chunk of taxiway down through the middle here, which is going to be this, I suppose. And then we want to do a gap of, what is that, 6? So we want to do a little 6x6 thing here. And that is where we're going to do another runway. And that'll be all right. So that gives us a bit more space to play with in terms of where everything's going to go. I don't know if I want them to sort of face the same way. I think I do. I think that'll be good for us as well. And then we can go in and we can do our runway connections the way we've done them the entire time. So they're going to be all this way around, which is fine. And I think I'm going to do some stuff in the bottom of this runway as well, so that we just have a lot of options for where the planes can go and how they can get around. So we're going to do this all the way down here. And so now I'm curious to see how the airport handles this. It's still not going to be ideal because it's still kind of a one-way thing. All of the aircraft have to kind of come up this way at one point or another. So we're still going to have a bit of a bottleneck here with all the planes going back and forth, but it's potentially an improvement. We have some of them kind of cutting straight across as well, which is interesting. So I think this is a bit of a better setup at the very least. I could put a third runway in here. That would be an option as well. And I think if anything, I think realistically I should just shuffle the runways over. I think that would probably make the most sense, but I'm gonna say that this is all right for now. How many flights do we have? We have 2. We have capacity for 200. We are way down in terms of the number of flights that we have coming in right now. So our money is going to be down as well, but that's okay. Let's also make sure that you're set up for medium flights, just because we do want them to take off and land using this runway so that they can hopefully get around a little bit easier as well. Okay, it is now considerably later. I'm not going to tell you how long or how much later it is, but I'm kind of gonna. I started recording this episode at about 7:30 a.m. It's now 11:30 a.m. It's hopefully not going to be a 3-hour long episode. I've just done a lot of tweaking here and there in the cuts in this episode, including changing the entire layout of the runways to look like this now, which admittedly is working so much better than anything we've had here before, which is great. We do still have some planes waiting here and there, but they're waiting to get on the runway and take off. They have 3 options, which is great. Planes are coming and going better than they ever have before. The only thing I've not done today is decorate this terminal, but even this terminal is apparently going pretty well. We've got a lot of people coming in here. We've got a lot of people going to check in, and then a lot of people going through security, but it's not to the extent that security is backed up 24/7. The helipads are doing pretty well for themselves too. And then over here, I'm curious to see, based on the sort of queues that are here, I don't think this is, no, this is worse. Actually, this could be worse. It's definitely not, it's not an ideal setup, but I would say this is going reasonably well, is how I'm going to describe this. I would like to look at my economy just very quickly, because I'm pretty sure that for the last little while, oh no, we still have an average. We had 1.6 million in expenses yesterday, 1.9 today. The daily average is 125,000. I'm pretty sure we are still making money though. It's just that I have spent ridiculous amounts of money on runways and taxiways, but it all seems to have been worth it, right? We've got planes moving around really nicely. They're doing what I want them to do. They are not tailing back like crazy anymore, which is great. And they've got different paths that they can take. You know, if this is going to be blocked a little bit, the planes will kind of go a different way. Like this one is going all the way down here, and it's then going to cut up this way, I'm sure, to go to wherever it wants to go to. So the planes are very much doing what I had hoped they would do. The only thing we need to do now is move the cabin cleaning and catering services from this spot down into here somewhere, and then extend this over. I think what we'll probably end up doing realistically is we'll double up the size of this concourse. We'll get 3 more medium stands on the right here. And then I want to build something here for a bunch of small aircraft. And that can be a combination of general aviation and probably some commercial flights. And then at that point, we're pretty much good. At that point, we have our international terminal, we have our heliport, we have our medium flights, and then we'll have a mix of general aviation and small commercial flights as well. So all in all, this is going really, really nicely. Only thing I want to do before we wrap things up for today is I want to go in here and I want to get some approach lights, because we don't have those on any of my runways right now. This runway is also not set up for medium aircraft. We'll get that sorted, and approach lights. And you are going to get your approach lights as well. And that looks pretty solid to me. So that should make life a little bit easier for the medium aircraft as well, which is great news. I could, if I wanted to, create some connection points in here. I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that that would be a good idea. That might just clutter things a little bit. I'm kind of liking that they're all being forced kind of down and around a little bit here. It just seems like it works really well. So I think we'll stick with what seems to be working, which is the entire map. Anyway, let's go ahead and leave it there for today. This has been a lot more work than I was expecting to do, but we're in a good place. We are still making money. We are still moving a bunch of planes. Yes, admittedly, it's only 79 today, and it's 77 tomorrow. It's actually, no, it's 82 today. We're not moving as many as I'd like. We have room for more in here. We actually have room for quite a lot more. Which is definitely going to be the goal. Doesn't look like we have too much in the way of large aircraft, which is slightly disappointing. I was kind of hoping that we would. Do you have any large aircraft for me? No. All mediums, which is, yeah, that's all. There's actually some large aircraft right there. Can we put you? We have got the room for it. I think it's just the 45 minutes between. You know what? Bring that down to like 35. Bring that back down to 30, actually. Let's get the planes back in here. Now that we've sorted out the runways, we can bring more planes in here, and I'm sure we'll be fine. Anyway, that's going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.